These are the first 6 problems on the Algebra A Test 2 of Quarter 1. And so let's take a look at these problems here. And here we want to isolate the variables. So the way we're going to do that is do some opposite operations. So I'm going to end up adding 4 to both sides. So once I've done that, I'm left with this 7x is equal to 7. So from that point, all I have to do is divide by 7, and we've got our value of x. So in this case, x equals 1. Well, the next problem, same sort of thing. We want to isolate the variable, so we're adding 4 to all sides. It's a minus 4, so I did the opposite operation. I'm left with this b over 2 equals 30. So from that point, I want to do another opposite operation. This is division, so I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides so that those 2's will cross-cancel, leaving me just with b by itself. So b equals 60. Taking a look at our next one, we've got to subtract the 2 from all sides. Careful in the sign here because they are the same sign. So I end up having to add those 2 numbers, and I end up keeping the sign the same. So it's negative 5, and that equals 1/7 n. So from this point, I'm going to multiply by 7 on both sides. And when I do that, you'll see how those 7's cancel out, leaving me only with this n equals negative 35. Well, from that point, what we're going to end up doing is moving on to our next one and add 1 to all sides. So when I do that, I end up with just a 3x equals 15. So from this point, if I divide by 3, we're left with this x equals 5. Next problem here, I want to isolate the variable again, adding 2 to both sides. Notice that they're opposite in sign this time. So when I do the subtraction, which I will do, I'll end up with negative 30, and this equals 5t. So from this point, I'm going to divide by that 5, and again, careful on the sign. Don't forget to bring that sign down. It's 1 negative, which will make a negative. So negative 6 is what t is. And our next one here, we want to move the 5 over. A lot of people want to add 5 because they see this sign right here as a minus, but that's not what we want to do. We want to subtract 5 because this is a positive 5. Always look at the sign in front of the term, never behind the term. So that leaves us with a negative 2/3 x equals negative 16. So from that point, if I multiply by the reciprocal, that will cancel out the 3's and the 2's. Do that on both sides, and I'll get your answer. So watch the negative signs there. Those negative signs will end up canceling out. 2 goes into 16 8 times, so I'm left with 24 as the value of x. Let's check out the next 3 problems. So our next problem, we're going to do the same sort of thing we did in the last one. We're going to end up subtracting this 6 from all sides. And so once we do that, you'll see how we end up with a negative 21. Again, when the signs are the same, you want to add the 2 numbers and the sign will remain the same. So from this point, the same as the last problem, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So you see how the 5 over 3 will cancel out the 3 over 5. Those are reciprocals of one another, and reciprocals always multiply to make 1, which is what we want so that x is by itself. And so when we do this, we need to divide 3 into negative 21, which goes negative 7 times. So x equals negative 35. So our next problem, we have some fractions. So to eliminate the fractions, we're going to multiply by a number to cancel out these denominators. So if we multiply every number by 8, that will cancel out, or cross-cancel each of those denominators. Let's take a look at our first one. 4 goes into the 8 2 times. 2 goes into this 8 4 times. 8 goes into this 8 1 time. And now if we just multiply across with whatever's left over, we'll get our new number. So here it's 6u, because 2 times 3u makes 6u, plus 1 times 4 makes 4, equals 7 times 1 makes 7. So now we have an equation that is just a two-step equation without the fractions. So we're just ready to solve by doing opposite operations again. So I'm subtracting that 4 from all sides. Let me fix that 4. So I'm subtracting 4 from the 7. And when I do that, I'm left with the 6u equals 3. So we have one step. Now a lot of people will say, oh, the answer is 2. That's not the case. That's when you divide 3 into 6. But we're not doing that. We're dividing 6 into 3. So we got ourselves a fraction here that reduces down to 1/2. So I'm dividing each of those by 3 is how I did that. Well, our last problem is a word problem. It talks about how Sarah paid $15.95 to become a member of a gym. This is a starting amount. It's a constant. We're always going to pay this amount when we join this gym. That's their startup fee. So we're going to pay that. So let's write that down, $15.95 plus, then it says she ended up paying a monthly fee. So a monthly fee for a year, and the total was $735.95. So she paid it for a year, so we know that's 12 months. And so she ended up, she paid that for a year, so it's 12 months we said, and she has this monthly fee, but we don't know that. And that's what they're asking for. How much was the monthly fee? That's the unknown. So this is, we'll just call M for our monthly fee. So we've got 12 months times by the monthly fee, and then this equals a total of $735.95. So let's go back over this one more time. We've got our startup fee. This is our constant fee. We're going to pay this. And then we've got the variable amount right here. Depends on how many months we end up using this for. In this case, it was 12 months it told us. And then it equals our total. So that's how we're setting up the problem. So we go ahead and solve by just doing opposite operations. So I'm subtracting that $15.95 from all sides. So make sure we line up those decimals as we do this subtraction. So here's what's left over. We've got 12m equals, and then the cents cancel out, so we're just left with some dollars. So we have 0, 2, and 7, so $720. So from that point, all we have to do is divide by 12, and just so happens 12 goes into 72 6 times. But the answer is not 6, the answer is 60. So 12 went into 72 6 times, but you got to bring down that 0. So there's the monthly charge. Well, those are the types of problems that you'll see on the test. Good luck.